Welcome back to DIY RV and Home. My name is Greg. Today's project, we're installing a pit door in the back door of the house. So, thought I'd take you along. It says easy to install. Instructions say pretty easy. It's in 2 languages. So if there's somebody here that's watching that possibly his first language is another one, I thought I'd help you out and show you. So let me bring it around real quick. And so we've got English and Spanish. And 1, put this thing up against the wall or the door. 2, take that drilly and poke some holes in it. 3, you take this thing right here that kind of goes and makes cuts and cut it, and then the next thing you do is you just kind of put a screws in it. That's all the instructions that came on it. Seriously, it actually is pretty simple to install. So let me swing around, get stuff set up, and we will get this installed. I'm going to be putting it down here in the door. I do have it's a metal door. It's got some reliefs in it. So we're going to have to take some caulking and fill where it's not perfectly flat. But other than that, it's going to be pretty straightforward. So we'll swing stuff around and get going. See you in a second. Alright, so tools that I plan on using on this project is, of course, we're going to be using a tape measure to get everything squared up. We'll be using a drill and drilling some pilot holes. Jigsaw, so we can cut the hole out. I've got some painter's tape that I'm going to initially set up and put on here so I can draw on it. Also have something for the base of the jigsaw to run across so it doesn't do any damage to the door. Now, depending on door hinges and doors and everything like that, you can come in and pop the pins out, take the whole door off, put it on something and work in an easier location. Just before I started videoing, I tried tapping these pins out of the hinges. They're in solid, so instead of messing around with actually unscrewing the hinge off the door or off the door jamb, I'm just going to do it in place. It's not going to be that much harder to do. So we've got that. I've got my tool bag here with the other tools that I might need, or just what I keep in the tool bag. Of course, we're going to need a pencil, pen, or something like that to mark. Now, that little joke that we had on the install instructions, and that's all that was in there, really. Now you got missing broken part paper. You've got homeowner information, warnings. You got some screws. You've got a door cover and the 2 halves of the door, and that's it. So what they're showing on the instructions, the pictorial, is that they're using this as the template to where you're going to be putting the dog door, and so you'll draw your line there, make your holes and cut, keeping it to that line that you draw. So let me get centered out, figured out where my edge is going to be, and we'll get some scribe marks and start getting this thing drilled. So I'm going to start by getting an idea where how high I want the dog door to be. Yeah, and that looks like a pretty alright height, right about there. So what I can do, just come back, grab some tape, and just go like that. Now I've got an idea where I'm going to put the dog door. We can do figure out our centers, start picking out our edges. So we're going to time lapse through part of this. Okay, there's a real rough mark out with tape. All my edges are covered in tape, so when I do make my lines, it'll be on the tape, not on the door, and I'll have a place to run the jigsaw through it. So now it's just get everything centered up, get the line. I used a Sharpie the first time. I'm going to come back and I'm going to get a pencil or pen into it. That way I'm not marking this up with a permanent marker. So one thing I could do is go ahead and put some tape at the center mark or center of the door here. Then I can go and actually measure out, find the center, and actually mark it. So we're going to go 6 1/8. So there's my center, so I can set that with that center right there. And I can take my level, and this is just an inexpensive level. Take that. Level it out. Okay. I got it level and centered on the door. Just take your pen, marking utensil. Don't worry too much if it accidentally moves just a little bit. Just get everything lined back up. Remark it. Okay. So I'm actually fairly close right down here on my tape, which, I mean, no big deal. I can either put another piece of tape across it, or I can just cut it as is. The foot of the jigsaw is still going to be on the tape on this area that we're keeping, so that little spot right there is fine. So now it's time to get some holes drilled, get a blade put on that we're going to use, and make some mess. So since we got some wood or foam, there could be some wood down here and metal, I'm going with a little semi-aggressive blade. We'll see what happens. I will make a hole, 4 corners, as close to the line as possible without going over the line. I'll put this in and I'll do a test cut into the part of the door that is being removed and disposed of. And if you're worried about spinning all over the place and not being able to get that hole in its proper spot, you can always put a punch and, you know, put a starting hole. Yeah, when you do our drilling, make sure you try to do a straight through hole. Whether it's you've got it on its side or you're in position like this. if I didn't say it, one thing, make sure you got some safety squints on. Keep those red hots from your eyeballs, so make sure you got safety squints. Knock, knock. Anybody home? Alright, so we got a hole. Now let's try fitting these real quick, because I might have to do some adjustment. Because I think the blade might have moved a little bit, but we'll find out. Oh, look at that. I think we might be just fine. We'll open the door up. We'll stick it on the other side. See how it fits. Now something you're going to notice when I open the door up. So we did have a pet who liked to scratch. Oh well, yeah, that's another project to be done. And yeah, I got a little adjustment to do. So, right down here, it kind of tapered up as I was going along. Everything else looked really good, so I got to come in here and just trim that out right there. So. Now that don't look too bad. Hey, just so you know, on the frame, on the inside it says outside, top, frame. Outside frame, top. So that's the one that goes out here. So we stick that right there. Grab our expensive level there. And look good. Get the door closed. Tape out of the way. Now you can come back in, clean up the edges and everything like that, if you so like. It's going to be covered. But look, inside frame. It must be top though. We'll stick that in there. Yep. Just like that. So we'll need to run some caulk. And what we could do if we wanted to, we could actually run even more caulk. Yeah. You can if you want. I'm just going to caulk the big stuff. And we're going to call it good. So let's get this swapped over to doing screwing. Yeah, let's turn the clutch down a little bit. That way we don't overscrew the screws. So that fits like that. Let's see. Well, how's about that? So since we got a little bit of a thicker door, we got a little bit of a shorter bolt or screw. So I'm gonna go see if I can't find me 6 screws that'll fit. Back and a half of a shake of a stick. Maybe longer. I done made it back. A little more than a shake. Had to run down to the local hardware store. Pick me up a little bit extra length there in the screws. But I got it. So now let's look at something. So we've got that one in place. Now tape. Let's take a piece of tape. I'll open the door, show you. So I'm gonna take me a piece of tape and magically stick it. Since I'm a one-man band today, temporarily keep it in place while I put them screws in. Okie dokie. Go ahead and get that in the hole with that tin. Got me one of them longer screws. Get my butt on the floor. Let's see if we can't get this thing put together. Now I go get all 6 of them screws started before you go and get it all nice and tight. That way, if you do have any minor adjustments that you need to do, you can do it. Well, so these screws are out here. We got to make a couple little notches. They don't show that in the picture. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take me, where is it? There it is. Get me my drill back out. Get me a drill that'll just fit in there, just so I can just kind of make a mark. Cause now I gotta take it all back apart again. There we go. So we're gonna come out, we're gonna hit. Now we're gonna remove all these screws that we just put in. So now we gotta add a little bit of extra notching, at least right here, about midway, halfway down, because those right there, those screws. And actually let me stand corrected. All right. Those 2 screws, holes, or these 2 screws right here, those are actually just regular screws screwed into the panel, into the door itself. They do not go all the way through. They do not attach to the other side of the frame. So do not make it larger. But since I got metal, I'm gonna have to put a little pilot hole. So I'll get the 4 screws in place, find out where I want it, make sure everything looks good, tighten up the 4, then I'll finish off those last 2. So let's get this done. See, if they had instructions in German, I'd have known that. I wouldn't have had to go through all this mess of faking the screws back out. Or maybe French. English is a pretty hard language to understand, you know. So now that you've got it in place like where you like it, you've got the 4 screws tightened up. Make sure that it's square in the hole and that it opens and closes, works, you know, real smoothly. Now go ahead and set your center screws, get those tightened up and put in place. Then we'll come back, we'll add a little caulk, and we'll call project done. Now I'm just picking a screw or a drill bit that's actually about the same size as the shank of the screw. That way I'll be able to put a pilot hole in and still get as much bite as possible. Now I got some 100%, or not 100%, I've got some siliconized acrylic latex caulking. Got it in white. It's paintable. Get your rag when you're working with latex caulking. And a little dampness. Yep. I'm just going to add some silicone, caulk up these little gaps right here. On the outside, inside, we're going to be good. Release the pressure on your caulk gun. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and get my finger a little damp. Run it across. Take the excess, wipe it off, keep the finger damp. Again. Alright, we've got the dog door installed. I got the door closed on it right now. Real easy. Opens right up. I've got the caulking in place. There we go. Yeah, I got some work to do on the door. But that's for another day. Works real smooth. To be able to, cats out, dogs in, dogs out, cats in. So as far as ease of installation, fairly easy. You're just going to use the cover, the door as your template. So figure out where you want that. Scribe you a line, drill some holes, cut, and remember 4 corner screws get put in, and then the 2 center on the inside of the door, those are actually screwed into the door itself. Make sure it's square. When you put it in, make sure that before you do put those center screws that it works smoothly and looks good. And as far as the instructions that come with the box, well, I tell you what, I think it's almost like Heinz. I think it's 57 languages that's in. But that's just me. Maybe I'm missing a little bit there or something like that. Anyways, hope you got something out of it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and see you on the next video.